I need to start this podcast by telling you guys about the night that I got arrested. Yes, you heard me. Arrested, tased, slept in a cell, and I thought it was the night that I ruined my entire life. But I say thought because it was actually the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It was the birth of the self-love goddess. But before we get into that, let me introduce myself. I'm Brittany, also known as the self-love goddess. And this is my podcast, Chit Chat with the self-love goddess, where we come together and we talk about real shit. We pick up real world examples, sometimes from our own lives. From our own lives. And we come together in community to figure out ways that we can learn from our past and fortify brighter futures. In love, though, not in shame, not in guilt, none of that shit. Thank you. So this is episode 1. And it's all about the night that I got arrested. Like I said, tased, caught up. They tried to get me. They tried to get me for possession and intent to sell. I say, wait, hold up. Where my smoke is at? Anybody who know anything knows an ounce. I ain't even gonna. Back then, especially, that was like a week, 2 weeks tops. Like, don't play with me. Sell what? Stop. Anyways, let me start from the top. Listen, I'm trying my best with the mic quality. I literally only just remembered that I had this mic right before I pressed record. So bear with me. This is the first episode. Give me grace. Okay. Actually, can I just say I'm so happy to be here. I've had this plan to make this podcast for so freaking long, and I just kept putting it off, telling myself I wasn't ready yet. Oh, like, how can I talk about things? Okay, don't get me wrong. I definitely feel how I embody my self-proclaimed title of the self-love goddess a whole lot more now than I did before. And this is something that we will always talk about here on Chit Chat with the Self-Love Goddess and over in my community, the Self-Love Hub. It's about how you are always worthy. Your words have always mattered, not only when you become her, but while you are becoming, before you even knew you wanted to be. Every version of you, your voice matters. All right? I feel like that was a little channel message, okay? I don't know who needed to hear that, but your fucking voice matters, okay? Actually, because I'm gonna blink it out. Your voice matters. Wait, actually, maybe I needed that. Maybe I was the person who needed to hear that, because before I even got on here, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm a little emotional. But before I got on here, I was like so nervous. I was like, oh my God, what if like I put this out and people don't really take it in the way that I intended for it to be taken, or they try to take my words out of context? I don't know, very much fair, in a state of fear. And I was just like, okay, girl, what we not gonna do is backpedal this moment, because it is now. And so, bada boom, bada bing, bada bish, we are here. And let's start from the top. We were supposed to, 5 minutes ago. One thing y'all gonna learn about me. Okay, first of all, I'm a little neuro spicy. So the tangents, they will be here, but baby, this is a podcast. You gonna put me on while you cleaning, while you body doubling, while you doing homework, studying, whatever. Like, I'm in the background, I'm yapping and you listening. So that's what you came here for. So that's what I'm gonna give you. Hello. But also, I'm a Gemini, okay? And I yaps. I put the yeah and yap, okay? So, yeah. This episode, like I said, is all about the night that I got arrested, tased, slept in the jail cell, thought I ruined my freaking life. And just to start this off, this episode is for anybody who's ever felt like they had to numb themselves, who has fought with trusting their intuition, especially if you struggled with forgiving yourself for not trusting your intuition. Baby, this one for you. This one is for you. And honestly, if you've ever felt ashamed of your past, this story that I'm about to tell, and the reason why I'm telling this story is because I know on my socials, of course, it's social media, it shows the highlights. I look like, wow, my life is so perfect. Everything is always so great. Wow, I'm always so happy. I've never had a struggle in my life. I'm telling y'all this story so y'all see where I came from. Okay? because I come from far. Okay? Like who I am today and who may have been the person that attracted you guys to this space, rather it be because of my self-confidence or the tidbits and knowledge that I share with you guys or my funny, goofy personality. I don't know why you're here, sister, but thank you for being here, or brother, or they, themmer. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's welcome. I don't know why you're here, but for whatever reason that you came here, I know it wasn't the entire picture of who I am. And I know it was probably the curated version of my embodiment. So I wanted to do this first episode to my podcast, being real honest about not just where I've come from, but the very night that birthed who I am today in this way. Because I need people to understand, like I was saying in the beginning, before you ever became her, you were always valuable. You always mattered. You don't start off the squeaky clean, perfected embodiment of who you want to be. You got to start somewhere. Usually, that place that you start, it don't be too pretty. And that's okay. That is okay. All right. If nobody ever told you that before, let me tell you today, it is okay for the place where you are right now, for the place where you started or are starting from, to be a place of mess and chaos and destruction and turmoil, because that's usually where we start. You don't start squeaky clean. Yes, we are born into this world. Precious, beautiful, perfect beings. But somewhere in the middle of all that, things get a bit tainted and confused and kapoofaloomped. Okay? Hi, my baby girl is here. You guys might hear some purring, some meowing. But anywho, she kind of cut me off a little bit there. What the hell was I saying? Basically, baby, don't be ashamed of your gutter start. Because, I was saying somewhere in the kapoompalump of life, things get chaotic. They get messy. And I don't believe in that purity of like, once we heal and transcend and do shadow work, we'll be all light, all white, pure, cleansed beings. I don't believe in that either. So I'm not saying like, if you start out in the mess and the chaos, when you evolve, that's somehow like a cleaner or something like that. It's just more organized. So yeah, this is for you. If any of that resonated, this is for you. Now, I got PTSD from having a phone that didn't have enough storage. So if you see me switching, cutting, moving, it's probably because I stopped just to make sure that I was still recording. And baby, I don't want to lose none of this good shit. I didn't need to say that because that's going to be done in editing. But guys, I'm just a girl. I have not started the story yet. I think I pretty much hit on everything that I was trying to hit on. But the last and final reason I'd say that I'm sharing this story here today is also to show people that typically the moment in your life that shakes you enough and catches your attention for you to make that shift is some bullshit. Most times it's in a rupture. It's a complete shift and tower moment, okay? That pulls your ass hair in and you be looking at yourself, realizing it's really you gripping your own shirt. You go, but let me go, it's you. It's usually huge chaotic moments that bring you to that awareness so that you realize as much as it's you who got shit in Kapoofal Uptown, it's also you who could bring it together. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's get into the story. I promise, like guys, I swear, we're going to get into the story now. Who I was back then. So at that time in my life, I'm not going to lie, I was like deeply disconnected from myself. I was going through a lot. I think, what year was it? I think it was 2021, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2021. So it was literally a year after the vid started. That really effed with my mental. I also experienced something at the beginning of the year that was like deeply emotionally and mentally traumatic for me. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I had gone through a few things that were like deeply emotionally and mentally traumatic for me. I was actually, I would say, at one of, if not the worst state of my mental health around that point. Boy, let me tell y'all something. When I say I understand, overstand mental health struggles, trust me, it's coming from a real freaking place. At that time in my life, on the outside, I know people probably was seeing like, oh, sociable Brittany. I had this business with my partner at the time. I looked like, I'm just living life. I'm doing me. And I mean, I was, like it wasn't like when I would post having fun, that fun was a lie. It was definitely true. Or that when I would post the success of my business, that was a lie. That was true too. It's just that I was only showing, like I said at the beginning of this, only showing the highlight reels of my life. So on the outside, and obviously I'm not going to show people that I'm breaking down, literally mentally crumbling to the point where back then I would record videos of myself. Ooh, child, this is going to bring up so much. I'm not trying to cry on the internet. But like, I was in such a debilitating state of like fighting with my mental health to the point where I felt like my mental health was its own being and it was eroding and eating away at my sense of self. And so I would set up my phone and record myself and like just literally just talk to myself about how I felt. I feel like each day I'm losing more and more of the fight. Maybe in the beginning, it was 90% me, 10% my depression. Now I feel like it's like 80% the depression, 20% me, and each day like it's chipping away more and more. And I don't know if a day will come where it fully takes over and I'm just not here anymore. That is the state I was in around the time when I got arrested. So I was in such a dark place. Like I said, I was so disconnected from myself. As you can see where my mental was at, literally personifying my mental health to try and get a grasp on how engulfed I felt by it. That can give you an idea of how disconnected from myself. I didn't even feel in control of my being, you see? But at the time, and I mean, even before then, I heavily medicated my mental health with marijuana. I've since found out that, like I said, I'm a neuro spicy babe. I have ADHD, but I'm in the process. Let me not lie to y'all. I'm in the process of being in the process of getting reevaluated because I think two things could be happening here. But that's besides the point. As of right now, I'm aware that I have ADHD. At the time, my therapist at the time diagnosed me with clinical depression and anxiety disorder, which I definitely, like I said, I was depressed and I was chronically anxious, like nervous system fried, like out of there. Just to find out, because like after we started putting together like different coping mechanisms and stuff like that, and we would be in spaces of time where I definitely knew I was not having a depressive episode, but I still was lacking like motivation, all these other things, all that accumulated to finally realizing like, oh wait, yes, we're onto something here. Where was I going with this? Oh yes. I used to heavily medicate. I have struggled with depression, or I would say undiagnosed ADHD, because that's really what it was. Well, like all my life. But no, the depressed part, being depressed because I was battling with things inside of me since I was like 14 or something. Like, yeah, it's been a while. Like I've been fighting with my self-worth and my self-love and self-confidence for a very long time. Not fighting no more though. We were at the love set. Up until that point, because the self-love goddess was birthed like around, I think, my 23rd birthday. So that was about 10 years. 10 years of fighting with loving myself and my mental health.
How I started self-medicating.
When I moved away, I found, the green goddess. Yeah. Me and her linked up, and I realized when I would tell her, it felt like all of my worries, my anxieties, my sadness dissipated. And so very quickly got ourselves into a dependency there. Yes, we did. A self-medication dependency. I depended on, I'm gonna call her the green goddess in this video. I depended on the green goddess to make me feel nothing. I was gonna say to make me feel something, but really I was trying to numb myself. I was trying to numb my pain. And we're not gonna get into the entirety of the pain today, baby. Because we trying to stay on track. You hear me? You trying to stay on track. Throughout this podcast, you guys will, not to trauma dump, okay? Because we're not trauma dumping, okay? But you guys will hear more about like the things that I have dealt with, overcome, evolved from. Not, again, like I said, to trauma dump, but just to share my story with other people so that they can see maybe a version of them and me. And then so they can also see a future version if they're not already in the embodiment that I've come to, a future version of themselves and me. They could see, oh shit, she went through that and she was able to overcome and become this. If I have not done that yet, I can do that. Or if I have done that yet, I don't have to feel shame about the fact that that's where I came from. Or maybe we just linking up. Hey sis, I see you, see me. You know what I'm saying? Wherever we are on the spectrum of the journey, I'm sharing this so that we know we're not alone. Okay? And so it was a lot of pain and hurt and lack of love I was dealing with. I was using the green goddess to sedate myself. And at this point in my life where my mental health was in the motherfucking gutter, I heavily depended on it, not just to numb myself, but to, in my head at the time, I thought I needed it to survive. I thought if I did not tote that, spend some time with the green goddess and have her numb me out, and I would just feel an ounce of that pain for any longer than what it took me to roll her up and tote her, I'd off myself. That's how I felt at the time. It was bad. At the time, like I said, I thought it was helping me. I thought it was making me feel better. I thought it inspired me and helped me to create more. I thought it helped me to relax. I thought it was helping me cope. But really and truly, all it was doing was numbing my intuition. Let me tell you something. Before this moment, when I had gotten arrested, I was hearing messages from the Most High, from my highest self, and some of my ancestors and my guides. They were being very clear. They were like, listen to me, baby. We know it hurts. We know you don't want to relive or revisit those memories or those thoughts or those feelings. But we need you to. Because you got to walk through it to see the other side, to overcome it, to release it, to let it go. And what you're not realizing is the same heightened senses you have towards your pain is the same heightened senses you have towards your happiness, your joy, your enthusiasm, but also the same heightened sensitivity that allows you to tap into your gifts that not only helps you, but helps you help others. And here I was spending all this time with the green goddess, just numbing. And they were like, hey, stop. We got shit to do. What you doing? Hey, listen, for the first couple years, we got it. We understood you was going through a lot, but now we at this point now, girl, we gonna need you to get this together. Put that down and let's address what's happening. And I didn't. And what happened? And that's lesson number 1 on the journey. You can't run away from yourself, and you can't run away from your purpose, and you can't run away from your mission. You can get tired. You can land head first. You can get arrested. You can get tased. You can sleep in jail. But things will constantly happen to get you to face what you don't want to. And that brings me to the night of the arrest. The night of the arrest. It actually started out, it was a Sunday fun day. Me, my partner at the time, and my cousin, we were all hanging out. Child, I got from so far. He was the designated driver. She had driven down to our house, but we were all driving in one car to go to the beach where we were going to be. Anyway, we went to the beach. We had a great time. It was so freaking fun. But let me tell you something. We had too much of a good time. We was drunk. We was drunk like I'm up. Drunk, okay? We went out there. At the time, there was like a tiki bar, a floating tiki bar out there. We was out there. We was drinking drinks. We was taking shots. We were partying. We were having a good time. Great. Now it's time to go home and my ex, he was driving. We pulled up by me, and we both knew that my cousin was way too drunk to drive herself home. It just would not work. So he was like, okay, I'll drive her car home. You drive my car behind us, and then we'll drive back. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I also should not have been driving for many reasons. I laughed at the beginning and I was like, child, like I'm her vibe, because let me tell y'all some bullshit real quick. Like I ain't already in some bullshit. So let me tell y'all some bullshit in the bullshit. I didn't have a license at the time. Yeah, believe it or not. How old was I? Like 20. I was 24. This happened around the 15th of May is when I got arrested, if I'm not mistaken. So I was actually 23 going on 24. And why the did I say that? Oh, because I was saying, like, can you believe it? I didn't have my license at 24. Yeah, I got my license like right before my 25th birthday, if I remember correctly, while I was sober. Because yes, I get sober eventually in this story because I got arrested. Are you not keeping up? Like, didn't have a license, so I should not have been driving. But on top of that, I was drunk. Can y'all hear me? I was drunk. I was drunk like a skunk. Yeah, like not too drunk where I couldn't drive, but too drunk where I should drive. You know what I mean? Like I could, but should I? No. And in my gut, I knew I should have like said something. I should have said, oh, maybe we should just drop her and then sleep there, wake up in the morning and have them drop us back home. Just something, but I didn't say nothing. I just went with the flow. And then we were supposed to stay there for a few minutes before we got home. So I was like, okay, let me take my bag and put like my purse to money and my provisional driver's license in there from the UK. Shout out to the UK fam. So I quickly just throw that in a bag, throw it on my shoulder, and I'm out the door. You know, I'm driving, and as I'm driving, I'm trying to connect my phone to play music because I'm drunk. Because I'm drunk and I'm not making sense. Focus on the road and drive. Oh, no. I gotta drive and then fiddle with my phone, try and connect. And if it's not connecting, why is it not connecting? Distractions. Anywho, so while I'm trying to figure out the phone and also drive, and I even called my ex and I was like, how do I connect my phone to your music? And he was like, why do you care about that? Just drive the car. And sometimes things gotta happen. Like everything that happened needed to happen so the final thing could happen. That's all I could say. I'm there trying to connect it, driving, and I'm pulling up to a roundabout. So I'm slowing down. I'm about to start busting around the roundabout. Now, if y'all from Turks, everybody knows this roundabout. It's the roundabout next to Crackpot Kitchen. When they first made it, they painted arrows on the freaking road saying the left side is to go left and the right side is to go straight or to turn back around on the roundabout. But then somewhere in between that, they decided to, I don't know, I guess, make a new law or maybe abide by the original real first law. I don't know. All I know is it makes more sense to use the left lane to turn left and the right lane to go straight and to turn right. It's easier because then the people coming from here, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but I just need to do this. So the people coming from here, they know everybody in this left lane is going this way and they only need to worry about the people. You get what I'm saying? It's just more flow. But no, we can't have flow. Anyways, all that to say, I was in the right lane and I was going straight. And somebody was in the left lane and they were also going straight. And how it was with the roundabout, if I had continued going straight while they was turning to go straight, I would have knocked into them. So what did I do? You see that? Now watch me whip. Now watch me nay. No, wait. Now watch me whip. Now watch me nay. Now watch me whip. Watch me nay. Oh, I do it. So back to reality. So what did I do? Skirt off the road into the roundabout. It's also a famous roundabout for cars being in it. Yes, guys, I was one of the cars that ended up in that roundabout. That was me. Swerved in the roundabout. And now I'm trying to reverse out the roundabout, but it's like the tire is bugging the sand. All this dust flying up. Somebody come try help me. He was like, oh, your tire. I'm like, shit. I call my ex. I'm like, hey, like I'm stuck in the roundabout, blah, blah. While I'm on the phone with him, mind you, I look to my left. And what the do I see? The feds. Oh my God. I got more stories about why I have a little bit of PTSD with the feds, but this video is already long enough. Honey, you don't gotta know why I have PTSD with the feds. Just know it's a little bit, it's not for nothing. I started to freak out. I said, oh, I don't got no driver's license. And when I went to court the last time for driving without a driver's, y'all, this is why I say I come from so far. Like, this is why I'm making this video, because y'all need to understand, like, bro, I'm not perfect at all. And like, I would never be who I am today if I was never the girl that did all of these stupid things. Now, I'm not saying it's imperative that you do dumb so that you become who I am today. If you are a young lady watching this in your late tweens, early 20s, please learn from my mistakes. I'm not saying you have to do dumb to become the type of woman that I am today. No. But if you are doing dumb, that's okay. Okay? But stop. Now that you've acknowledged it, let's whip. I remember I already went to court, and the last time I went to court for driving without a license, they told me if we catch you driving without a license again, we are going to suspend you from your ability to get a license for 2 years. I said, Bombaraskla. I said, woy. I can't afford that. Like, I need to be driving. What you talking about? I'm trying to get my license right now. Actually, what are you talking about? Like, so obviously I did the most sensible thing anybody would do if they knew that they were in a car driving without a license and the police was coming. I ran. Duh. Yes, you heard me. Stop acting like you ain't hear me. You heard me. I said I ran. Yes. Like, why did I just think about that ghetto video with the guy in the yard when he was like, but yes, I ran. Yeah, duh. Like, what else was I supposed to do? And I was on the phone with my ex. I was like, oh, I matched the car. I looked to the side. All this happened in like 30 seconds, mind you. I looked to the side. I said, oh, the police. He said, the police? Where? I was like, I gotta run. He was like, run? He was like, don't run. Honey, I started running. Again, if y'all live in Turks and Caicos, you know the bushes right across from Pork Shack. And when you gotta bust that corner to go to Banksy, them bushes right there and behind Connolly Motors. That bush is right there, baby. That was my target. I said, listen to me. Once I jump in them bushes and I start rummaging, they not gonna come in there behind me. I'll just like hide somewhere. Can y'all tell I was mentally unstable? Oh, and also very drunk. I said, yeah, they're not gonna find me. And I don't have no ID or nothing, forgetting that my ID was literally in the car. I was like, I don't got no ID or nothing. Like, I'm gonna be good. I'm so straight. So anywho, I'm running. And I'm not looking over my shoulder now, mind you, because I don't know if they teach this all over the world, but I feel like Caribbean children, y'all know what I'm talking about when I say in relay, they always teach you don't look back, you wasting time. Well, track and field, period. They say don't look back while you running, you wasting time. So what am I looking back for to see if the police behind me? That's not my business. My business is freedom. Okay? I'm running, and as I'm running, I'm falling down. Well, I fall down once, and I pick myself back up. But y'all know, y'all ever run and you running so fast, your legs kind of give out on you, or like you overstep yourself, so you end up. That's what I thought was happening. I thought, oh, I'm running, and that's why I'm falling. So fall down, boom, get back up. Run, fall down, boom, get back up. Run, fall down, boom, get back up. Run, finally hit the bushes. I hear, miss, please, stop. I still dig. I digging. They say, miss, please, stop moving. We have tased you. There's a taser in your butt, and we need to take it out. I say, what? I look back. I see these two wires attached to the back of me, and heading back to the police car. Out the window, police officer got the taser in their hand. Mind you, I'm 5'5.5", 5'7" on a good day. At the time, maybe, was I heavy at the time? Maybe I was like 160, 170, I don't know. But besides the point, like I'm a woman, not a huge woman, not a threatening woman, not a muscular, not that that would matter, but like, the y'all tased me for? 3 times? Oh, by the way, if you didn't catch on, all those times when I was falling down and getting back up, they were tasing me. And you know, the electricity is traveling through my body and connecting with the ground. And so it needs somewhere to, so I'm just, it's funny now, but it's now funny. Because I also think that's the reason why I tripped out and had such a god-awful mental breakdown after all of this. But anyways, so I looked behind me and for a second, I was thinking, I was like, do I pull this taser out by myself and continue running through these bushes? Or do I stop, let these police officers take this taser out and get arrested? Well, so like, y'all remember the story about, what's his name? Steve Irvin, I think, the nature guy. He used to like, oh, Crocky. Yeah, so here we have a gator. That guy that died from the stingray, because the stingray pierced him in his heart. And then when he pulled it out, like it actually caused more harm. Like, mind you, this is happening in like 30 seconds. I'm thinking, because I'm also thinking about like, you know, when they say when you get stabbed with a gun, but not thinking about the fact that it's twisted. If you pull it out, like you bleed out. So anyways, you know, basically in my head, I'm thinking of 2 things where someone was stabbed and they pulled it out themselves and then they bled out and died. So again, can you tell that I was drunk? So in my head, I'm thinking, right, okay. So really the option is between pulling this out and dying or letting them pull it out properly and living. So I decided to get arrested for the safety of my life. They was like, oh, why'd you run, blah, blah, whatever. I was like, because I don't have like good altercations with you guys. Like you guys are kind of awful. Like you're not the nicest people that I've ever interacted with, you know? So I was kind of trying to like avoid having another bad interaction with you guys, not gonna lie. So anyways, it was like, okay, we got to search the car. I was like, yeah, no problem. There's nothing in it. Obviously the car was unlicensed, uninsured, because you know, it wouldn't be me from the past if was doing some dumb. That was the most thing that I was like afraid of. And obviously them finding out that I don't have a license, but like I didn't have the license in the car. So I was like, oh, I could kind of finesse this a little bit. Like they don't have to know that I don't have a license, you know? But anywho, while they were searching the car, they took my bag. They were like, this is your bag? I was like, yeah, that's my bag. They start rummaging through it and then they pull out an ounce of Golden Goddess. I was like, oh my God. I'm so... In that moment, I realized the bag that I picked up to put all my money and my stuff in when we were hurrying up to go and drop my cousin home was my bag. All my smokers know what a bag is. It's like where you keep your papers, your grinder, your grabber, your mulin, your lavender, whatever the hell you be putting in that. That's where you keep it. That's what I put my stuff in. And I had just picked up. Yeah. So I probably had only even smoked a joint out of that. Yeah. I started losing it. And then they locked me in the police car and like for a while after the situation, I couldn't be in a backseat of a vehicle with the car being on child lock. Like I remember the first time that I went out with my friends and they didn't know that the car had child lock on it. And I was like getting ready to go out and everyone else had already gotten out. So I was the last one locked in and I was like literally fighting to get out of there. And I jumped in the front and like, I was like hyperventilating. They were like, you good? I was like, don't ever lock me in the car again. Bro, sorry guys. I'm having a moment here right now. Just like, I just want to hug my past self. Cause bro, like we was really holding a lot. Like, but anyway, so you know, I was in the car, I was freaking out. I was like, please, just let me like, just stand out there. Like, I don't want to be locked in here. Like, please. And honestly, I feel like police officers need to have a briefing on like mental health, how to care for people with mental health, like how to spot when someone is having an anxiety attack, a panic attack, a mental breakdown, and not just like straight off the bat, just treating people like pieces of bullshit, murderer, criminals, because not everyone is a murderer, criminal. Like, there, I don't know, maybe this might be a controversial take, but I feel like there should be levels to how you treat, like all criminals should be treated with human decency, but there should be levels with how you like treat criminals based off the crime. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt like they was treating me like I was a gunman. Wow. But I was really just a girl who smoked pot. Like,
Hey guys, so this is Brittany from editing here. I just wanted to come in and say, like, I feel like during my recollection of this story, I was definitely lacking some accountability. Not that I actually lack accountability in real life, but just in the retelling of the story. So I just wanted to come here and add some nuance to the story. Obviously, I understand the way that I was behaving, like running away from the scene, jumping in the bush, them then finding the green goddess in my car, finding out that the car was unlicensed, like all these things. I understand how literally I was breaking the law. Like, there's no way to go around it. And I understand how, because I was breaking the law in that way, it probably definitely gave the police officers a certain perception of me. I guess it's just really interesting to have both sides of the coin shown. On one side, I genuinely did not know I had Green Goddess in my car, and I was not running because I felt guilty, even though, yeah, obviously I knew I didn't have a license, so in a way I kind of was running because I felt guilty. But like, it wasn't because, oh my gosh, I have Green Goddess in my car, like I need to run or else I'm gonna get caught. It really was like, oh shoot, like I've been to court, they already warned me about this, like, and I also don't have good interactions with police officers, so I should get the hell out of here. And I will say, not that this makes any excuse for what I did, but ever since going to court, like I literally stopped driving without a license. So I also just felt like, damn, how freaking unlucky of me. Like, the one time I drove a car without a license, ever since I got that warning, like I'm getting arrested. Like, damn. Well, at the time I didn't know I was getting arrested. I just I got in an accident in the middle of the road. But anyways, so yeah, I just came to give a little bit of that context. So I don't want to make it seem fully like, oh, the police officers were just treating me so wrongly, because a part of why they were treating me that way was definitely because of the way that I was just acting crazy. Like, the aftermath, a night in the cell.
they eventually let me out, and my brother-in-law actually was driving past and saw me, and he stopped, and he ended up calling my dad and my sister and my brother and my mom and my stepdad. So they were kind of like all there, which was a lot. Well, my mom wasn't there. She was actually off island, but she called and she spoke to me. And yeah, I don't remember like a lot of what happened once they put me in the cuffs, because like I said, I had the worst mental breakdown I probably ever had in my life. Where like literally like they were asking me stuff, and like I was just like so checked out. I was like, it doesn't even matter, because like I won't be here. Like, I'm not gonna be here. I was literally just like iced out. And I just was in such deep regret. Like, anyway, they took me to the police station, and they were like, you know, taking my fingerprint and doing all this. They were like, oh, you're gonna have to go to court about this, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, yeah, it doesn't really matter, because I'm not even gonna make it to court, because like, um, I didn't say, or I can't remember if I literally told them I'm going to, but if I did, like literally, again, mental health awareness, like, should you really be locking me in the cell by myself? Like, well, I wasn't by myself. I had a cellmate, who I'm actually so cool with to this day. And I actually ended up hiring at my bar. But again, stories for other days. They literally had us there the entire day. And I don't want to talk the young lady who was in the cell with me's story, because it's her story to tell. I'll tell my story. I was there from the previous night, maybe like around 9 or 10. And I was there until the previous day at about 5 p.m. and I had not showered. They had not taken us anywhere to bathe. I think I probably ate once some cold food. Well, they brought cold food, but thankfully they allowed my partner at the time to bring me food, which I ate barely, but I shared it with the girl who I was in the cell with. It was awful. It was like I was already in a state of self-hatred and deep disappointment and extreme regret and shame. And they were referring to me as inmate. You ain't know you're supposed to keep the pot in your head and not in your pocket or some shit like that, he said. And I was just like, okay, antagonizing me for what? Nigga, I'm behind the bar. I'm already receiving punishment. What do you get from on me while I'm in my lowest point? What do you get from that? That makes you feel better about yourself? That makes you feel like you're doing your job? Do you think you're encouraging me to be a better person, treating me like that? Because you didn't. It was me deciding to be a better person. But if that was the motivation, I probably would have become a tyrant. But anyways, that's besides the point. It was an awful experience. Would not recommend. Will never go back, by the way, ever. But like I said, it was honestly the best thing that could have ever happened for me. You know, when I was in that cell that night, literally, I didn't really sleep. I just cried. Like, shout out to my cellmate and to my nieces. Oh my God. Because when my sister went home to like get me a change of clothes and stuff like that, they packed me a blanket and like a book that I could read, but I wasn't allowed any books inside the cell. And if they didn't give me that blanket, and if my cellmate didn't give me one of her sheets, I would have been sleeping on bare concrete, no pillow, no sheet, no mattress, nothing. This is supposed to be the Western world. What kind of bull mother is that? But anyways, I have put my niece's blanket down on the concrete and I used the sheet that my cellmate had given me as like a cover. And obviously my hand was my pillow. So as I was crying the entire night, shivering cold, no clock in sight, so I have no concept of time. All I had was my thoughts.
The birth of the self-love goddess.
All I had was my thoughts, how I felt about myself. And in the midst of my thoughts, in that cell, no smoke, no phone, no man, no cats, no friends, no Instagram distractions, just me, my tears, and that cold concrete. I couldn't run away from myself anymore. I had a very abrupt reckoning of like who I was and where I was in my life. And, you know, at first I was filled with regret. I was filled with guilt. I was filled with shame. I did not want to live anymore. I was very sure that by the time I woke up the next day and finally got out, the first thing I was going to do was myself. And throughout all the tears and throughout all the crying, you know, eventually my cellmate, I don't know if it's because she genuinely felt bad for me or she just wanted me to shut the up because I was just crying so freaking hard. But she tapped me and she said, hey, you can't let this like finish you. You can't let this overcome you. You're not a bad person just because you're here. And, you know, she shared a little bit of her story with me. And I guess that's kind of what I'm doing here today. Because in that moment of hearing her story, I realized I'm not the first person to up. And I won't be the last person. And just because I up, it doesn't mean that that's where I have to stay. It made me realize I can have the power to overcome. And I'm not gonna lie, I decided that next day I was going to change who I was. But it wasn't for myself, not yet, at least. It was for my family. I felt like, how can I expect them to support me and love me and show up for me when all I do is disappoint them up? It was for my nieces. I did not want to be the auntie who everybody would be telling them not to be like. I wanted to make that shift so that I could be a positive example in their life. oh yeah, look at your auntie, she's doing this, you should do that like her. Instead of, don't be like your auntie who got arrested. Don't be like your auntie with her mental breakdowns. Don't be like your auntie, you know what I'm saying? So the shift initially started for those around me, but I'd say like around the time that it rolled around to my birthday, when I literally self-named myself the self-love goddess, it began starting to be for me. That next day was not easy, but I got through it. Those following weeks were not easy, having to go to court and lay my mental health out on the table because my defense was I self-medicate. I wasn't trying to sell this. I'm not trying to be a criminal. I'm just trying to stay alive. And it was true. But in order to prove that, they'd be like, all right, well, tell me your business. How crazy are you? Why are you struggling with this? What you struggling with? And then that was some other that pissed me off because I shared some traumas that I had never really shared with anybody else, especially my parents. And I do know that the person who spoke with my mom was doing it out of a place of love, I'd say, or not love because they don't freaking know me, but like out of a place of care. Because what I did tell them was very heavy. And they asked me, like, do your parents know? And I was like, no, I don't know how to tell them. So I think in their head, they thought, oh, I'm going to help a mother and her daughter become closer, when really they pushed me into having to speak to my mom about something that I wasn't ready to talk about yet. So this entire arrest led me to a place of confronting and speaking about a lot of things that I felt like I wasn't ready to do yet, but I had to become ready for. And so in court, I had to speak a lot about my mental health and how long I've been struggling with it and like all these stuff. So in the end, I wasn't given a criminal record. I was put on probation for a year where I would not be able to smoke, fight, get in trouble, anything. I had to be a mother effing law-abiding citizen. That was the beginning to structure being added into my life. At the time when I decided I was going to start loving myself, I did not know where to begin. I'll be so honest with you, because at that point in my life, I actually thought I loved myself. Because, I was doing the little journal work and I used to listen to my affirmations, and I went from a place of thinking I was ugly and not beautiful or sexy to a place where like I knew I was. I was very surface level self-love. That's what I was dipping my toe into. But that night in the cell, I realized I had not even truly scratched the surface, because there was a deep loathing for who I was underneath everything that showed up when I didn't have no green goddess, I didn't have no phone, I didn't have no distractions, I didn't have no one to argue with or anyone to laugh with or any drinks to drink. It was just me. And I saw where I didn't love myself, not how I thought I did. So I didn't know where to begin, because I also realized in that moment, I had never loved myself how I really needed to be loved. Well, let's not say never. I'm pretty sure me as a child fully loved herself. Okay, period. And me now definitely loves herself. Okay, period. But I was very blind. I was moving purely off intuition, which is so funny because obviously I wasn't able to smoke. So my intuition was very clear. Not saying that because I'm still pro green goddess. I don't agree with those people who like make it seem like, and it may be their truth. But when I stopped smoking, that's when I became like my highest self, my best self. I stopped being lazy. I stopped procrastinating. That's not everybody's experience with marijuana, okay? That's not everyone's experience. I'm still able to be highly intuitive when I smoke as much as I am when I'm sober. Maybe in different ways, I'm not gonna lie. I tap into things a bit differently when I've smoked versus when I'm sober. But that's not what we're here to discuss. Say hi to Ticker, guys. I don't know if you can see him, but he's in my lap. That probationary period, it forced me to stop smoking, like the Most High and my highest self and my ancestors and spirit guides was been telling me. It was rough, it was hard, but there was truth, there was honesty. Probation also added me with some structure. I had to meet my PO officer a certain time every month. Sometimes, at first it was once a week, and then it was twice a week, and then it was once a month. honestly forced me to find some freaking hobbies and to analyze a lot of my relationships, my friendships. My eyes were open to so much because for the first time, I was not numb. And so I was able to truly be honest with myself about a lot of things that was happening in my life that I was so busy numbing myself from this one thing. I didn't realize I was numbing myself from all things. Truly changed my life. And finally, guys, we're moving into the shift that took place. I posted on Threads the other day that I didn't just wake up one day a changed woman. I woke up and I decided to be honest with myself, and then change followed. Even as I was processing all the things through sobriety, I didn't realize that a shift was taking place. I remember that summer, right up when my probation was about to end, I decided to do a fast. It was the first time I've ever done a juice fast and fasted intentionally for more than a day. And that brought so much clarity to my life. It boosted my self-confidence. It brought me back into my body, and it made me realize for like even another deeper layer of self-love. So I had hit that layer of self-honesty and giving myself grace and allowing myself to purge. And now I had reached a point where I was practicing self-love through my habits, like the things I eat, how much I exercise, my hobbies, like my creative endeavors, beach walks, dancing, more habits like journaling, meditating, prioritizing my spiritual health. It just allowed me to really explore and experience self-love in ways that I had never poured energy into before. Or even if I did, it was never to the depth to which I had learned it in that season. And that's honestly bringing me into the realization of the embodiment. It wasn't until now, years later, literally this stuff started happening in 2021. We are in 2026. That's 5 years. I'm realizing that even before I had the words for the change that was taking place, I was already doing the things that I knew I needed to do. And it's now that I can put words to those changes. I had to change my relationship with my faith. I had to create structure and discipline. And the most important thing, which is something that I've only really started integrating as of recent, I'd say like as of 2025, is being present. Faith, discipline, presence. And how that aligns with this story is that faith was that moment when I chose to believe that this wasn't the end of my life, but instead a greater calling for who I not only wanted to be, but a part of me knew I was destined to be. The discipline was choosing those refined actions and structures that allowed me to hold and contain the version of myself that I am today, which is someone who has healthy relationships. I know how to regulate my own, okay, you doing too much and I can't move. And you up my two-piece. I'm so pissed. Yes, as I was saying, the discipline was those refined structures that I created in my life, like working out, eating differently, exercising, my spiritual habits, the things that contain the person that I am today, that makes showing up and living as the person that I am today so much easier because I didn't just do it overnight. It was repeated actions done over time that became habits and then became ways of my being. And the presence was allowing myself to feel all of my feelings and to be in the moment where I could see myself fully, and then choosing to see myself and walk with myself along the journey and not abandon myself as I was unfolding and becoming. Embodiment, honestly, is the difference between pedestalizing who you truly know you are destined to be, who you know you are aspiring to be. Hello, you about to piss me off. Move. Yes, embodiment is the difference between pedestalizing the version of you who you are going to become. Because the past you, the now you, and the future you are all one you. It's all you. So Embodiment is the difference between pedestalizing that and making yourself feel like you are somehow below that, and allowing yourself to see that these two things, they're happening like here, and all you have to do is make changed actions so that you can align. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of the times in the manifestation space, the goal is pedestalized as if who you are now is a lesser version of the version of you that will have the thing that you want. As if who you are in the chaos is less valuable than who you are when you create order. As if who you are when you make mistakes is somehow less valuable than the version of yourself that you will only become because you learned from that mistake. The magical moment and shift in my life took place when I stopped trying to be impressive and focused on being integrated. If you're listening to this today and you feel like you are stuck in cycles, or you don't know how to get yourself out of the chaos, or you feel like you're addicted to self-sabotage, or maybe you feel like you are doing the work and you are putting in the effort, but you don't feel like there's any change or difference taking place, or you don't know how to hold it, I want you to ask yourself 3 gentle questions. Where am I overriding my intuition? What am I using to numb myself? What truth am I postponing? Now, all 3 of these might not have a grand answer from you, but maybe one of them will reveal something to you that you need to communicate with yourself about right now. Your rupture, your chaos, your tower moment absolutely does not mean that you are broken, but it may just mean you're being redirected and you're being asked to rise to the occasion. I am honestly grateful for that night. I keep saying in this podcast, without it, I would not be the self-love goddess. I would not have the pain points that I had to learn to create medicine within myself that I am now able to share with my community. I wouldn't be the woman that I am today, and I wouldn't have the past that I had so that I could help other women embody who they know they can be. That night gave me my life back. Honestly, somewhere along the line of my life, I told myself that what other people wanted from me, how I could please other people, make other people happy, that mattered more than any of my thoughts, ideas. You know what I'm saying? That night gave that back to me. It gave me back my life. If this story resonated with you and you feel like you are at your breaking point or you've just came out of one, I have a beautiful gift for you. It's a free foundational guide linked below called The 3 Pillars of Embodiment: Faith, Discipline, Presence. It's the perfect foundational guide for you to get started on not just shifting your relationship with yourself and self-love, but completely shifting your perspective around the limitless possibilities for your life. And it's quite literally, like, now that I've looked back on all the steps that I've taken from that part of my life to where I'm at now, this foundational guide is basically everything that I did to get from there to here. So I did that work, so you won't gotta do it, Bookie. You're welcome. And of course, if you're ready to go deeper, you can always join me on the Self-Love Hub community over on Patreon. And for spring equinox, you already know your girl gets down with the manifestations. Every spring equinox, I will be having my spring equinox, the Art of Embodiment webinar. Hop on there. We're going to be releasing things that we no longer need, creating space for new things to come in, learning different tools and modalities about how to manifest the self-love, the money, the jobs, the partners, whatever the hell our heart desires. And then once we manifest it, how to keep it, how to hold it, how to nurture it, how to multiply it, how to receive. So, once again, this podcast is called Chit Chat with the Self-Love Goddess. And now you know who the Self-Love Goddess is. She's not a perfect woman. She's not spotless and shiny. She's not someone who started off absolutely amazing, never did anything wrong. She was born in a jail cell. Deep it. The self-love goddess was born in a jail cell. If this podcast episode has told you nothing, I wanted to tell you that your past does not dictate your future, but it is an integral part of who you become, of your medicine, of your story. Don't be ashamed of it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You are worthy now, you were worthy then, and you will be worthy tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after, period. I'm not here to showcase perfection. That's not what I do. I'm here to show you the real. But when you see me loving on me, how I'm loving on me, and saying how I'm celebrating and manifesting how I'm manifesting, I need you to also understand that that is real. It's all real. And you can have it too. It's not just for me. It's for all of us. And that's what this community here is about. It's about coming together in love, in motivation and purpose and action, showing up for one another, holding each other accountable, and of course, learning new ways to love on ourselves and using that self-love to create lives that we love living. This is what the Self-Love Hub does, baby. We build our dream lives on a foundation of self-love and self-trust. And it all begins here. I hope you enjoyed the very first podcast of many. I just want to let y'all know it's not always going to be me in front of the camera because, Bookie's busy. Sometimes it's going to be my animation and my voiceover. But I'll try to do on camera as much as possible because I know y'all like to see me, right? I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment. Not just comment for comment's sake. I want to know, what was your favorite part? What really touched you? What have you taken away from this video? What do you want to see more of from me? Like I said, this is a community. I want us to talk to each other, okay? It's not just me talking to the screen and you guys liking and Moafa talk. Yeah, so I'll see you in the next one.